Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another Supercoach Insider podcast. My name is Swizz. As always, I do thank you for joining in. Check us out on all our social media platforms, in particular YouTube, Spotify, and get in contact with us with X. I always keep wanting to say Twitter, but X, Supercoach Insider 100 and Swizz 26. Thank you for those people who have already jumped on. Put in your questions there and we'll talk through teams. There's been some big news. We're leading into round one. It's less than 45 minutes away. Teams will hopefully be dropping in the next sort of 20 minutes. So any last minute changes. I have made a few last minute changes already, but there is a couple more to come because probably more than any other competition, the BBL is very fluid with the news that comes in. And Jacob Bethel, who looked like there was going to be not coming out, maybe potentially depending on what England's schedule was, has now announced that he'll be here for the Geelong game next week. So that has thrown an absolute spanner in the works because if you're like me, who had Khan as captain all of about 2 seconds ago, it's gone to Edwards now, but it was on Khan just because I was playing with my team. He will not get picked if Bethel's available because clubs will only need to able to pick 2 international players. And since Seinford's already in as the wicketkeeper spot, that will mean Khan will play the first game. And if Bethel's available, you would expect them to pick him, which means Khan will need to be left out. So we're only getting 1 for each game. So for those who do have Khan and really like what he was going to offer, it has thrown a real spanner in the works here because we're only going to probably get 1 game out of him. So I'm looking at now making that move to Rogers for now. I've got a couple other thoughts in mind, and I'll talk about a couple of the other changes I've made as well, but definitely need to consider that. So, yeah, if you're in that percentage and how many people end up going with Khan in the end, because I know a few of us were really hot on him. Let's go through here. Rogers, Khan, 9% of teams. I'm actually surprised it's not more. So that's a pretty easy swap over for me because of the same price for now. So I'm going to chuck Rogers in there. I'm just going to save that for now because I've done this before where I've been talking on camera and completely forgot that there's a lockout happening and then my team gets mucked around. So we'll do that and then we'll go through some of these changes I've had and then we can answer some questions out there. So the big change for me, and he is currently in 53% of teams, is Matt Short is out of my side. Talking to a few other people I respect, good mate Grimo. I know former 2-time winner Andrew is, I think he's also faded in Short. The weather now does not look good for Tuesday night's game. Apparently, potential some thunderstorms around. Now, what time that actually comes in is anybody's question right now. But, there is some potential rain. So that's going to take into account. Manuka traditionally isn't a great ground for teams that are batting first. But yeah, depending on what app you've got, one app's to me saying weather's going to be potentially getting a bit wet, maybe around 7 p.m. The bombs so far, this is what the bombs report says. Mostly sunny morning, slight chances of a shower in the afternoon and evening, the chance of a thunderstorm in the evening, light winds becoming northerly 30 k's in the morning, then shifting to an easterly late in the evening. So definitely something to consider. Definitely want Short for the double. So this does make it hard, and sort of where the planning comes in, that I'd probably have to then look at moving Webster, Curran and Seinford and bringing in 2 cheapies and then Short, which is not what I really wanted to do in the first place. And that's why I did want to start Short to make those trades easier. But unfortunately, if it is a shortened game, that does potentially affect his scoring ability. At the same time, if it's a T10 or something like that, we know Short can absolutely go nuts in them as well. But yeah, there is a couple of concerns on that pitch, especially if there's some weather around. Does that potentially affect him? And to pay 300,000 plus for a guy who, does that might affect his over, 1 or 2 overs that he gets, and how much time he can spend at the crease. It's a big risk. So, I think like all these decisions can go either way, but I'm kind of leaning towards putting that money elsewhere for round one, and then hopefully Short doesn't do so well because the game is affected. And I'm sticking with Jamie Overton at the moment, just because I think if that pitch is offering assistance, I think Grimo was saying to me before Most games there, usually you get sort of 7, 8, 9 down, which is pretty good for bowlers. And if Overton is bowling, which he has been back for England, he will be probably their main bowler in those key parts, especially those power play overs and maybe at the death. So if Overton can pick up 2 or 3 wickets, it goes a long way to him at least getting his break even, if not more. So his break even is 69. So I'm taking Overton over him at the moment, over Short. And then that allowed me to do a little bit more with my cash. So Edwards came back in my side. I've had Edwards most of the preseason, but he got squeezed out the other day. But Jack Edwards has just been in some great form. Then Behrendorff's the one that's come in. I'm not loving the Stars lineup. So obviously with Maxi out there, I think there's a great opportunity for wickets. I talked about these the other day in my Perth podcast where Behrendorff played in the T10, had a really good economy rate for that sort of competition. Obviously it's all smash and bash, and we know how good he is at those opening overs. So I really do want, I'll want Behrendorff next week anyway, so may as well just bring him in now. Richardson's the one with the emergency on. He's the one I'm a bit skeptical still, just because of that shoulder. So I probably want to try to loophole him somehow. And if he goes well, then I'll make an adjustment then to my team, just because I want him next week. I am a little bit concerned still about, could he potentially be the one that, do they rest him for one game? Because they obviously are on the road for week 2 when they go and travel down to Hobart. So, excuse me. So there is a little bit of concern. Then they have a game of the Renegades. So hopefully, Richardson's fine and gets through. And he's playing both. Grimo's actually on the chat now. Thanks, Grimo. And he said Sam Harper is warming up with the gloves. So that is a good sign for a lot of the competition that have Harper. Have been still looking at him as a potential person in my keeper, and then maybe have a look at bringing Seinfeld in afterwards. It's still, that would give me the cash if the weather did clear and I still wanted to go short. But I was sort of trying to make arrangements away from that. Harper, what did he end up in at the moment? Let's go by ownership. Currently, I think he's 35%, but let's see if that's dropped or not. Let's have a look. Harper is in 35% of teams. I know he absolutely burnt me last year. He is cheap, so that is the one positive. My worry is where he gets named in the batting lineup. So something we were talking about earlier today, sort of where does Maxi bat? And then where will Harper bat? So Maxi's obviously going to come in, you would think, normally in that sort of 3 or 4 position. So if Harper's there, is that just the like for like? If Harper's batting lower, then I don't want anything to do with him. If Harper's opening, is there a bit more of a chance of him holding his position? If Tom Rogers is the one that fells tonight, is he the one that makes way for Maxi? There are some question marks there. So at least Harper's price is a good enough price that you can treat him like a rookie. And if he does get a couple of catches, well, it's all well and good for us too. So I'm not against the Harper pick, but just his form in the past and then that reliability if he's going to get picked, especially the fact that they've got Joe Clark there. So, there's definitely some issues. If you've got any 50-50 questions, guys, that you're considering, so in that flex position at the moment, I just had to delete it so I can have a look at some of these percentages, but I still do have McKenzie there. We obviously do have questions with Murr, when his availability is. We're expecting for the Stars next double. So what happens to McKenzie there, or do the Stars play both spinners? So I think he's one a little bit more reliable with the fact that I can see him, potentially, maybe not as much getting the economy rate, but if he bowls his 3 or 4 wicket overs, there's a potential chance that he takes a couple of wickets. That's all he needs at that bargain basement price. So, I think I'm a little bit more satisfied with him. It was very interesting to see Paris not named. I thought, he performed well the other day. I thought he was probably going to be the one more locked in, but maybe they're holding him back, or just that wasn't the balance they were going for. But, that was a bit of a surprise. Some of these percentages too, still interesting for people who haven't made some adjustments to their team. At the moment, still fading Jake Fraser McGurk with the news that Khan is out. Am I tempted a little bit more? Slightly, but I still would prefer bowlers or all-rounders instead of the straight batsmen. Will Sutherland still in 39%, which is fine. Just want to see. It'd be interesting to see where exactly he bats with Bethel coming in, that's not going to obviously push him up the order or anything. And yeah, to see how that fitness is going. Did bowl the 2 overs the other day quite well. So will he get to do his full complement, or does he just work his way into it? Constance came out for me, but there's still talk that Sam could be opening with David Warner, and then that would mean Bancroft at 3 if that's the way they want to go. They're really obviously pushing this kid. He's got a lot of talent, so wouldn't surprise me if he opens. He came out of my side to fit Wildermuth in. I've been sort of really big on Renshaw, and I was happy to have Constance in there, but just to try to fit more because Wildermuth, because the news with Nisa looks like missing most of the tournament, if not all the tournament. So there's a guy that can sort of bat 6 or 7, bowl a couple of overs, and just kind of don't mind him at his price as that sort of cash cow. Let's keep going. I think Philippines raised up to 37% now. I think he was on about 34, 35 earlier. So more people jumping on him. It is something with with Khan now coming out of my side. I am now considering, how many 6s could I potentially go? Philippi maybe is a bit more of a set and forget keeper. Did have kind of a down year for his standards, but as I talked about on the 6s pod, he's still only 27 years old, so could definitely rebound. It wouldn't surprise me at all that he comes out and has another massive season. So is very tempting, and it would mean then I wouldn't have to use trades in my keeper spot. I kind of feel like it's the ruck spot for the AFL position. Kind of want to go a bit more set and forget. Some people want to get a bit more creative, but if Inglis was potentially comes out and be available for the next for the double, do I want to have the ability to trade Seinfeld to Inglis and move him in there, and then do I just look at get Philippi after that? Or do I not want to use the 3 trades there and just go, okay, let's back Philippi in for some good scores? The thing with Seinfeld, it does open the ability to trade somebody, because obviously you're going to use 3 trades, potentially 4. So you do need to trade some people out. Webster and Curran do have the double again on round 3. So you could potentially trade them out and trade them back in. Which is what I'm looking at if I don't start short. So there needs to be another person I need to trade out. Maybe it's probably Milne, but Seinford's another one that I could go. Just the annoying thing that Seinfeld does have that bye in round 2. G'day, Ben, on the chat. Ben, I also had to start the account back on StreamYards here, so I hope you don't mind that. That's the only way I could go live. Thomas, thanks for joining in. Hey, mate, I see Jai is on your bench for the emergency. If he goes massive, what's your plan to stay at the score? Yeah, I'm still not against bringing in Salzman from the Sydney Thunder, so him at 39K, or have a look. But that also depends on if Buckingham's picked. So if Jordan Buckingham's in 24%, so let's talk about him first. But actually, they're both the same amount. Salesman 23, Buckingham 24, but the same price. So at the moment, I've got Doran as a looper. I really like that as the keeper. I talked about that the other day, where he plays late, except for the double round, which is later on in the season. But he's pretty well. The Hobart Hurricanes are a really good loophole for your VC and captain option. That I want up my sleeve, and I've got the vice captain on Bo Webster tonight. As long as he's still named in that top sort of order, it'll be him. If he's sort of named at 6, then we might move over to Curran there. But let's go to 6. So if Richardson was to go big and Buckingham isn't named, then I'll bring in Buckingham, because I do think he's going to get games, and hopefully as early as the double. If we go, if Buckingham is named this week, then yeah, I can easily go to Salzman, because I don't think he's obviously going to play. But again, he potentially could get games at throughout the season. So yeah, that'll be kind of interesting where we go there. Stars 11. Oh, here we go. Stars 11. So this changes everything as we kind of go out there. So we've got Rogers, Clark, Sam Harper apparently at 3, Stoinis 4, Hilton Cartwright 5, Bo Webster 6. Yuck. All right, let's do that now. Tommy Curran. Better save this and then chuck the VC back on. Who am I chucking it on? Curran. So, yeah, Webster at 6 is not what we wanted to see, guys. We were really hopeful that he was going to bat at top order, and then bowl his overs from there. So that's definitely not what we wanted to see at all. So, yeah, if you've got that situation where you do have Webster as your VC, you might want to move that now. It's actually kind of interesting to see if what the captaincy and vice captaincy is at the moment. Let's have a look at that as we are talking. So scroll down here, coach's choice. So yeah, if you're watching at the moment, take a second, make that move. So most popular vice captains, Bowie Webster still at 12%, Tommy Curran at 7%, Glenn Maxwell at 7%. Not even playing, guys. If you're watching, you've got Maxi in your team, get him out now. Matty Short 6%. Interesting, especially since he's got the third game of the week. So don't like that as a vice captain. Hardy at 5%. He's not playing either. What are people? These must be a few auto teams. It gets it like Supercoach. It's really good one now. And you would have seen of those who play AFL, NRL, NBL, top 1%, top 5%, top 10%. What they're doing, it really does auto fill out these teams that are irrelevant or just done autofill or whatever. The problem is we don't get that option for round 1 because obviously we don't. Everybody starts on 0. So I'd be moving those guys out as well. Few on Stoinis, but most of the other options for vice captain aren't great. So let's be realistic here and say the top 2 are Webster and Curran. Yeah, I'd be changing over there to Curran. For most captain, Matty Short. Again, Maxwell, don't know why. Sutherland's up there, and then a couple on Stoinis. So I think a few people do definitely need to update their team pretty quickly. Always interesting that. All right. Yep, not a problem, Thomas. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to, and that's the same, Thomas. I also, you would see Cooper Connolly, exact same situation. So, and that's where maybe like the Harper pick is all right because then I could just like have Doran there if Harper doesn't go well. I was thinking then Seinfeld or Philippi could just go into the wicket keeping position, or we could have and then put Doran into the batting position. I don't mind having a couple of loophole guys because we've got the flex position this year, so it has changed a few things up. So so anyway, go on that team. So Bo Webster 6, Tommy Curran is at 7, Hamish McKenzie at 8, love seeing that. Milne at 9, Brody Couch at 10, and Peter Siddle, 40-year-old man, still doing it, and he'll probably take wickets tonight. So do love Sids. Milne came into my side as well. So you'd probably think be interesting. Maybe they might go Milne and Sid's new ball, but I'd probably think it'd be Milne and probably Curran, and then they'll go from there. McKenzie, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Curran, McKenzie, Milne, Couch, and Siddle, the 5 main bowlers. And then I don't think Stoinis is going to bowl tonight. I think Bowie Webster. Webster only rolls over the arm for 2. That could be interesting because you think Curran's going to bowl 4. Milne probably bowls 4. Couch and Sids, if they bowl 3 each, that's 14. McKenzie gets 2 or 3, sort of 17. Bowie Webster might bowl 3. Yeah, so I don't think Stoinis bowls. That kind of be interesting. I'm now tempted to with Harper at 3. It's tempting to put him in there at VC. I think Grimo, if you're on there, you'd probably be saying do the same. That might be still tempting now that he's keeping. He's at 3. Oh, God, I really don't. I've been trying to find every reason not to pick Harper on my side, but it might just be have no choice here. All right, what else is everybody else thinking here? We've got. So Jack Edwards, because I didn't really talk about him much the other day, but he's been absolutely killing it in the Shield. Just because of kind of his age, like 24 years old, we've seen like all the talk for Constance. We know the sort of Mitch Marsh and the sort of the injuries, and also the fact that there's a couple of those sort of Australian cricketers who, not only injury prone, but are getting older. So they are looking. So who is the future and how many guys? Not necessarily might not be the test side right now, but they do like to bring them through the T20 scene and then into the one dayers, and then from there into the test matches. Sort of when they get that sort of 27, 28-year-old age. We've seen a few of these guys already blooded. Cooper Connolly's been playing some. I think T20s. They've had him around the squad for a little while. So Jack Edwards, wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to put him and really continue his development. So I think he'll be given every opportunity, and they'll be saying to him, should be batting sort of that top 4 and bowling his overs, which wouldn't surprise me at all. So that's why I kind of really want him in, because I think at 136, he's quite good value there. And as a guy, if I've got to pick any Sixers player, it's him. But I also do like Philby. And the other one I do like is Ben Dorshus, who another one until he broke down, and he was part of the Australian team when he broke down. So we know the skills that he has, and it's not a bad draw at the start of the for the Sixers. They do play Renegades. They go out to Western Sydney. That can be pretty good for the bowlers. So yeah. Do I really want to start 3 Sixers on my side? Not really, but it does help out, because one of the hardest buys is that round 3 buy to negotiate. So if I've already got Sixers in there, then it's just about an amount of getting more the heat players like Tall Paul. I probably want to kill when he comes out, but Paul, Bartlett, those sort of guys. That's why I originally was looking at maybe Renshaw or Wildermuth to start off with, which is why Wildermuth's in there. I think the other game there for the Sixers is the Melbourne Stars at home too. So they do have a pretty good draw straight up. I don't really rate the Sixers. Good question there. Is that Green Ninja? We're vice captain Richo instead. Like, I would prefer you double somebody who's got the double game, because it makes sense, because you get 2 bites at the cherry. In saying that, I don't have a lot of confidence with this Stars batting lineup at all. We're just looking through that again. So final 11, I've got that there. Rogers, Clark, any batsman on any given day can score runs, but you nearly think for quality bowlers like Richardson and Behrendorff, they could go through those two. Harper, we know what he usually delivers with the bat, like a couple of good first-class innings this year, which has been great to see. Stoinis, he can be hit and miss. Like Stoin can hit 60 off 30 like he did against Pakistan recently, but we know he can also get out for about 10 as well. Hilton Cartwright will probably have to anchor the innings if they're in a bit of trouble with Bowie Webster in the middle. So up the top of the order, Behrendorff and Richardson could go bang, 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 bang. And, both of them could be looking at a game like 70 points. So I don't mind it, especially if you don't trust the Stars, which outside of Curran now, because of Webster, there's a part of me that doesn't even want to pick Webster now, but I still think he probably bowls enough. And knowing it, if I don't pick him, he'll probably come out and bat 3 in game number 3. So that's always the worry with this sort of stuff, because you try to start trying to fade players, and it does say there must be game number 4 for the round. You start trying to fade players and get creative, and then they completely do a big flip of their batting order, in their second game. So I think still got to probably hold Webster, but if you're not confident, by all means, Richardson, or as I've tried to get in there, get Behrendorff. I think he's probably going under the radar, especially for a guy. He's at his price for a reason, because he is such a good player. So if you've got Richo, I'm still tempted. Maybe it's the only reason I've got really Richardson there in the emergency spot is because because of his shoulder, and I'm just trying to protect myself that Richo, if he bowls the first over and his shoulder pops out. So in the first class game recently, he took the too far, went and high five someone, shoulder popped out. He came back on, but that was obviously after they got the massage and and jabbed him up and everything like that. And there's obviously a lot more time in a first class match than comes back out after the would have been the lunch break. T20 game, if he goes off, there's not much time for him to get prepared so he can come back out and bowl that last over, and they probably just won't risk him. So that's why I've kind of got Richo there, because if he plays and does well, awesome. But if he doesn't, just kind of predicting it. Corey, and don't like Buckingham as a second bench bowler. Yeah, so you're saying, well, I'm worried about Matt Short now with the news as want different players. And it has probably been something that's been going through a lot of the expert chats in the last sort of 24 hours, that a lot of the guys who do content creating everything have moved off Short, which is surprising because we were actually all on Short. But this is the thing, it's a fluid situation. So, we do have this situation where players, because things change. You hear news, you hear weather, and yeah, it can completely affect everything. So unfortunately, here we go. The final 11 for the Scorchers. So Keaton Jennings, Finn Allen, Cooper Connolly at 3, perfect. Matty Hurst will keep at 4. Ash Turner, Nick Hobson, Ashton Agar is in, which is interesting to see. The 2 spinners, Jai Richardson at 8, Andrew Ty, then we've got Berendorf and Lance Morris. So the 4 quicks as expected, but they're still playing the 2 spinners. So now it's good to see. The only one that really needs to come in, or potentially Josh Inglis if he's released, but and then it was going to be Hardy. So they've got most of their other players up and about. So probably it's actually, compared to when I was going through the Perth side the other day, it wasn't looking great. They've managed to get a pretty good side up, and I think they'll do an absolute number tonight on the Melbourne Stars. Apparently, people are saying they've got some issues with the app. So, Thomas, no real news actual about short itself. It's just more around the weather. So there is some worries about that, but he's fit and firing. There's no problem there. But yeah, there is, and then probably more discussion around sort of that Monica pitch batting first. So yeah, there we go, Logan. Typical servers are down because everything, as always happens with this, everybody jumps on to do last minute trades and can't get through, which is always great. It's always what you want to see. I'm just really hoping that that's saved now. So, here we go. He's back in. Good to see. So, always happens. I think it was this footy season last year. Some people were trying to get in last minute and then, absolutely crashed. Draft Stars too. Let's if people are interested in that, they do have free one. So I always say gamble responsibly, but you can play free. I think the first price is like $2.50, but obviously if you're paying for money, it's a lot more on that. There's some good ones in the bowlers today because Sid's, Couch and McKenzie are all really cheap at the moment. So you can potentially get on a couple of them. Of the batsmen, I don't mind Keaton Jennings at 14.5 and also Cooper Connolly. He's at 14.5 too. So the most expensive players in this is Finn Allen at 19,000. You get a salary cap of 100,000 and you have to pick 7 players. So I really do like Cooper Connolly, Keaton Jennings opening the batting. Actually, has somebody said that? Have we actually got LD Logan? Yeah, LDU late vibes. 100% on that. So the Stars have actually chosen to bat as well. So we will get those Scorchers bowlers up first. So let's go to that. So if you are Draft Stars, I like Jennings. I'm going to go Cooper. I probably need a batsman here from the Stars, but let's have a look. Who else? Maybe I will go Bowie Webster. Milne's also a really good price. It actually it really does allow you to get some of these other really good players in. If I go Richardson and Berendorf, what does that leave me with? 11,000. Sam Harper and Hilton Cartwright. Well, that for a team. Actually happy with that. So I've got Cooper Connolly. Let's go review team. Cooper Connolly, Jennings, Sam Harper, Cartwright, Milne, Richardson, and Berendorf. I'm actually really happy with that team. Let's see how that goes tonight. It'll probably either finish first or either finish last. Corey Webster at 6. I'm worried about that too, but that's the whole thing. So I feel like you've got to keep Webster, even though the fact that he still probably bowls 2 or 3 overs in that list, because I think Stoinis will be the one that won't bowl. We're talking to this with a couple of people the other day about the fact that Stoinis, we feel like he will be an unselfish captain. I think maybe, especially with the ball, we see a few of the other captains. I admit myself, I'll put that in that category, get that ball in the hand, and it's really hard to take it off me. But I'm a bit more unselfish with the batting. I think Stoinis will be the other way. Probably if the moment needs him to go up and bat, he'll do it. But I think the ball, he'll leave it to the other guys. But at his price anyway, he's good enough to put up a big score in one of these games that you just still want to pick him. But I'm not thinking a lot of bowling is going to be happening out of Big Stoin in this. So just a little bit of food for thought there. What else? So I should really put it to you guys and say, should I put the Harps in there? Let's see if he can burn me 2 years in a row. So a couple other questions actually just come online. Someone's messaged me. It's like, anybody thinking Siddle or Couch can hold their spot? I'll say something about Couch because listening talk, the Stars coach has been pretty active in interviews recently. Big talking up McKenzie and Couch. They were the two. They got a lot of love from the coach. So if Paris, you'd think maybe him or Steggs come in for Siddle because there's no way Siddle's playing every game. But yeah, there's a lot of love for that. So I don't know if that's a directive from Cricket Victoria, Cricket Australia, or just what the coach has seen, and the coach and Stoinis really like him. But yeah, if you're going to go one of those potential cheap bowlers, Brodie might be the one because, younger player, yeah, he's obviously going to able to back up more than what some of these older players are going to. So I think the rotation policy could be there. So for that, for the older guys, as we're already seeing. All right. I'm just trying to see if there's any other news that came through. I did have something earlier. My phone doesn't want to play up, but we did have the Renegade squad was as expected in there. Now there's something that needs to be talked about. So Callum Stowe's been named for that. You'll see any of these players that have been added late. So they're the local replacements. So in this case for the Renegades, Callum Stowe, if they are added, they need to be in the 12. So when you're trying to plan around, so the Renegades have named a squad of 14 for the first game against the Sixers. So Stowe, if he's not named, which you don't expect he will be, he has to be named in the 12. So that obviously is going to count one of those players of the 14. But of the Renegade squad, Sutherland, naturally Brown and Fraser McGurk will open. Evans, those come across from Perth, he'll play. Mackenzie's half his form the other day was good, so he'll bat middle order. Hassan Khan, we've talked about. Ferguson, Neil, old man Richardson. Well, he's not even that old, but I know he's getting the old man tag. Tommy Rogers, Sandhu, Seinford, Stowe, Wells, and Zampa. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's a squad of 14. So you'd probably, out of that, you'd expect Wells to be the one left out. And then, yeah, maybe it's one other, which kind of gets interesting because Stowe will be the 12th. So I still think Seinford. So it'll probably be Brown, Fraser McGurk, and then Seinford will be the top 3. I probably think Sandhu's the one that gets left out, but it'll probably be out of Sandhu and Richardson for that last spot because Evans, he'll be in that. You got Evans in the 4, Harvey 5. You'll probably see Sutherland or maybe Khan will bat 6, Sutherland probably 7, and then the bowlers after that. So that's what's happening with Renegades news at the moment. The Sixers have also announced a 14-man squad. They've got on Reeks, Abbott, Chauhan, Davies, Dorcius, Edwards, Hughes, Kerr, Murphy, Perry, Philippi, Shaw, Silk, and Vince. So once again, really like up the top of the order. It's like there's a chance that Hughes could be the opener, but you still think Philippi should open there. Vince probably comes in at 3. A few people have been picking on Reeks. He went up $500 last season. That was $500 overall because the starting price from the year before. He's not an option. He won't bowl, and he bats sort of that 4 or 5 position, and even probably 5 because Edwards will bat 4. So I would not be on him at all, guys. So leave him out. Again, as I said, I like Dorcius. I think Kerr's probably going to. It'll actually interesting what order they'll do, but it'll probably be Kerr, Abbott, Dorcius in that order, and then the last will probably be like a Murphy. So I've seen a few people with Kerr, but if there's probably a player that's not going to bowl the full complement of overs, it's probably going to be him because I think Dorcius, Edwards, and Abbott will bowl all their overs. I don't mind Abbott if you want to go there as well, but again, how many Sixers players can you have? If the Sixers had a double in round 1 or 2, geez, I'd be absolutely loaded up on the Sixers. I'm a big fan of them. Grimo's just messaged me too. He's on the VC for Current as well. 4 quicks and a spinner, and the team does worry him, but Perth batting second. But so that is a worry. But I think he's like not just this game, but you also got to take into account that he does have 2 games as well. So there's a big chance he'll bowl. If not the 4 tonight, he might get the 4. So it might be 7 overs over the couple of days. And just the way that Stars batting lineup is, he might get a bit of a hit at the end. Could even get a longer bat. A few people also posting and talking about Connolly at 3. If you don't have him, get him in now, guys. Hardy out for a bit. So yeah, he won't be in for that double. So it's only really Inglis we're worried about for now. So Connolly, the fact that they've got the confidence in him at 3, he's part of that Australian team. I think there's a lot to like there. Corey, I did think about Fergus O'Neill as VC. You know what? I actually had him on the C when I first put him in. And it's just the fact that he's not going to bat high enough, which is the way. That's why I preferred Khan, because I kind of want a guy who's batting 6 or 7 and then bowling his overs. And that's why at least Curran fits that mold. What's he coming in at 7? So, yeah, much prefer that than somebody who's going to bat at sort of, he might bat 9, 10 or 11. Not saying that a 9 and 10 or 11 can't come in late, but it's just more likely, to be the other way around. Curran 7. If the Stars go out a few early, it would be good if he got sort of 5, 6 overs that he could bat in and have a hit. And, maybe if he gets a 30, that would be perfect. So, yeah, Curran is that VC option. Harper, God, I know what I'm going to do here. I'm going to end up putting Harper in because it's going to probably give me options. All right, let's do it, people. I'm going to do it live. Let's get Harper in. He's just I know it's going to backfire on me here, guys. On that, I really don't like him. But the fact that he's keeping and stuff, he's probably, knowing my luck, he'll probably come out there and take 3 or 4 catches and get his break even just from there at all. And there is a part of me that kind of, because of the flex position, I kind of don't even mind wasting the keeper spot a little bit and just taking the risk with him. It's going to be interesting with the AFL and the NRL as well, with this flex position coming in. Just a little bit of the sidetracking here because of the fact that we've got a situation now where you can kind of go to a position fight, like the forwards, for example, in Supercoach, haven't been scoring as well. So you're going, well, I can just put a rookie in there. Don't really need to worry about that player. And if they score well, whatever. And I can just put an extra midfielder or an extra ruck in. I feel that way a little bit with the keepers. Outside of Philippi, like the only keeper I really liked was Inglis. And now that he's like potentially not in, and I can still potentially get him in if I wanted to, because I can always put him as a bat, but or in the flex position as well. So I could, I just feel like it's as good as this flex position is. It also is hurting positions as well, and I think it's hurt the wicket keeping position this year. So it'll be interesting to see how it sort of plays out this year in BBL, and then how it gets translated into the AFL and the NRL seasons. I like change. It's something different. Good on the Supercoach creators for doing it. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it actually ends up playing out. I just have that feeling that that's how things will go. I'll keep the captain. I'll just chuck the captaincy on Overton for now, and we'll get that to the when we need to. So finishing off, we'll go Harper's emergency. That could backfire for me, but Harper, emergency. Doran's there as the loophole. Got the loophole on Connolly as well, and Richardson. The 3 scorchers for next week's for their double. Also already got the 2 strikers. So if I use my boost, I could potentially have 9 for the following week, which is kind of what I want. I was saying the other day, the minimum you kind of want to aim for a double is 8. In a perfect world, you want to kind of get, if you can get 9, that's way better. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Stars and Renegades in there. And because we have the Stars also playing in round 3, so depending on how many I trade out, I've already got them ready to go for round 3. I've already got Edwards in there. It is the why I kind of don't mind the idea of going Rogers to Adorcius, just because that I can deal with having 8 players this week, and then that will allow an extra person ready to go for round 3, because I think that might be the toughest round around it. Also depends when you're planning to use your buys. Who do you prefer between Connolly and Jai Richardson? I like Connolly because he's batting at 3 and he's also bowling. So if I had the choice, I'd go Connolly. And that's how I was going. Like Richardson only sort of came in when Short came out for me. So I'm much prefer on that situation. And I'll see if I can actually blow this up, guys. So see my team a lot better there. Yeah, so I think, and if in a perfect world, if you are willing to bring in a non-playing player or a player who's only like a Buckingham who might play only, play the double but won't play first week, yeah, I like the idea there of like that looping of Richardson. But if you're going to put them on field, I'd still prefer Connolly on field. I just got a bit more confidence in that position. So hopefully that answers that, Sam. All right, we are actually about to start, so I might love yous and leave yous, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate that. I'll continue to put some stuff out. Feel free to hit me up. Swizz26, the best way to get hold of me, but Supercoach Insider 100 if you do have any questions. The hard thing, guys, we've got to remember. So we've got the games, obviously the first 5 games this week, which then round 2. So round 1 finishes the 19th of December. Round 2 starts the 20th of December. So you don't get much time between the 2 days. It's not like the AFL where you get a whole week to plan around your trades and stuff like that. Bang, bang, straight into a new round. So when we finish this round on the 20th, which will be on Friday night, then we start the new round 21st. The round finishes on the 19th, which will be Thursday night. New round starts on the 20th. So come Friday, I'll try to post out either a video or try to get on a Friday evening, and we can have another chat for those people who are trying to work out, do we need to use our boost? What sort of trades do we need to use as we go into the next game? Hopefully you enjoyed that, guys, and good luck for the Supercoach BBL season. We'll talk soon.